Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Tuan Nur Aisyah binti Tuan Muhammad Rani, S55269, and my supervisor name is Sir Mazli bin Harun. So today, I will present to all of you about my final year project. So, my own title, which is Malaysia Initiative during the COVID-19 pandemic toward the formulation of diplomacy relations. So, in my research, I will explain brief summarized introduction, literature review, methodology, discussion and finding, novelty, and lastly, conclusion. So, issue COVID-19 is most people talking about because it happened 2 years ago, 2020. So, for my research, diplomacy helped. The coronavirus disease, or we call COVID-19, is one of the most devastating disaster ever experienced in the modern history of the world. So before this pandemic existed in Malaysia international relation in multilateral or bilateral is very good and got any agreement on a policy. So it seems that the impact or factor of this pandemic is not just impact on the health felt, but also giving impact in the international relation, in economy, politics or social. So this pandemic control will be easily targeted if it is connected through international relation and as a public health tragedy. Next is about literature review. So from the systematic literature review, I used secondary data, which is use information from journal publication, report, and article as well. So so I have 5 keywords, which is humanitarian, the first keyword. The second is COVID-19 relation. Third is foreign policy. Fourth is negotiation. And the last is international relation. So, I collect 10 article or journal publication for one keyword. So, we look for the maybe the first keyword. So, you can see the table I have shared for you. Okay, the first is the keyword humanitarian. Okay, the author is from 2021. Okay, he said that this is so outcome from the article is human management that being harmonized path in several countries. So from the remarks of the article is collaboration in humanitarian operation, focusing on the logistical aspect as supply chain. So next we move for the next keyword is COVID-19 relation. Okay, from the Muhammad Ihsan, he said that how the availability of ASEAN member state in acceptance and delivery of vaccine to its member. So it clearly see that World Health Organization role as the leader of international organization diplomacy in the use of vaccine to ASEAN. Okay. So the third is about keyword foreign policy international. Okay, from the Abdul Rahim 2021. Foreign policy can grow up the economic due to the pandemic global. So from the remarks, we can see that the foreign economic policy introduced us a friendly and fair policy through international relations to harmonize among Muslim countries and European Union countries. So next is about the negotiation keyword. Okay, from Laura 2021, she said that it's been negotiation in partnership, so that they can get each other. Okay, so the remarks is focusing to the pandemic lead to negotiation that being harmonized between partners. Okay, the last keyword for the literature review is about international relation. Okay, from the Mario 2021, there are analysis of EU ASEAN in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic and the advantages that will be shared by member of country. Okay, for the remarks is that this article is focused on how the theory approach liberalism and EU-ASEAN regionalism. Okay, so next is methodology. So I use qualitative method. The data I have two. The first is about the primary data, which is from interview. For those are from agency, and it's focused on the focus group interview. So the second is secondary data. So I use data from journal publication, article, and report as well for the systematic literature review. Okay, for the content analysis is by transmitted oral to text and recording system. Okay, so respondent is respondent from chosen as the chosen from the agency as the decision making in their agency. So I use two agency. The first is Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the last is Ministry of Health. So the framework of my research is the Malaysia's formulation diplomacy relations. Okay, next is for the result in discussion. Okay, the conceptual framework goal is to rationalize Malaysia health relation in terms of foreign policy. So to harmonize Malaysia in relation to COVID-19 through international health consensus collaboration. So Malaysia strengthen international relation through cooperation to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. Diplomacy is the best tool to build and strengthen the national health foreign policy through the formation of the diplomacy relation framework. So the commitment among the respective counterpart nations toward to COVID-19 negotiation process in order to liberalize diplomacy and foreign policy of Malaysia to assist for the method of COVID-19 humanitarian, vaccine assistance, health expert, transfer knowledge, and the harmonization of the COVID-19 environment. Strengthen the relationship of diplomacy through the role given by diplomats through expertise in negotiation and communication that touch on the role at the unilateral, bilateral, and multilateral level by the government. Okay, this is my framework theory for my research. Okay, this is my formulation of diplomacy relation. So we have three agencies. The first is Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Health, and National Security Council. So three agencies is from Malaysia. The combination of these three government agencies is a factor of actor, communication, and negotiation. So the purpose of this cooperation is to build a new framework or theory, which is the formation of diplomacy relations in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, which negatively impact the international diplomacy between Malaysia and other countries in aspect politics, economy, and social. So the framework is a new nation health code of conduct related to health diplomacy that has not yet been enacted nationally and internationally. So the COVID-19 issue has empowered the Malaysia diplomacy relation, and subsequently the Malaysia national health diplomacy framework as the main basis in health-based policy. So the last is my conclusion. So through this study, is it found that the main problem of the international pandemic is there needs to be a new foreign policy of by the global head. So all these problems can be resolved by negotiation Malaysia, especially with foreign country in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. So that the effort to praise Malaysia as the catalyst for the world health policy. So even if Malaysia and other countries rise through this pandemic, there will be other global health challenges. That's all. Thank you.